Coach PR here at VladTV, sitting here with Super Bowl champ, 2008 Super Bowl champ, 2007, 2008 season Super Bowl
Right.
champ, Plaxico Burress. What's up, bro?
What's up, man? What's going on?
How you doing?
All right.
Glad to have you here. Glad you pull up and everything. Appreciate you. Um, we got a lot of things to talk about, bro. But we're gonna start off. Let's start off by telling us about young Plax growing up in Norfolk, Virginia.
Oh man. We tell everybody you're from Virginia. It's like, Virginia is such a nice place. It's a beautiful place. I was born in Norfolk, Virginia. I grew up in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and the typical, young kid growing up. Going from home to home, raised by a single parent, no father around. Just trying to, find a way to make ends meet. Mom busting the tail. Driving public school bus, working in gas stations. And just trying to find a way to make things happen. It's like when people hear the word Virginia Beach, they don't know that there's a other side to my city.
They think Virginia Beach is for lovers, right?
Yeah,
Virginia's for lovers.
But they think, they don't see the other side of the side that, I know and the way that I grew up.
And you grew up with your dad passed away early, right? Like you said, it was your two other brothers. So are you the youngest of
No,
the?
my mom passed away when I was 25.
No, your father. I'm sorry. That's
No. My father's actually still living.
Oh, he's actually still living.
Yeah.
So, but you grew up with your mother alone.
Yeah, I grew up with my mom. Yeah.
Okay. So
My
you had
mom
two
raised me.
two other brothers, Ricardo and Carlos. Did they?
Yeah. They're down in North Carolina running around somewhere going crazy. My brother owns a couple used car dealerships down there, so they're doing pretty good, man.
Are you the youngest?
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest of them. Did they play football? You play football?
Man, they had no athletic ability whatsoever. I got it all.
You had it all.
I got everything.
Okay, so when you were before high school, before growing up, did you play football at all?
I remember, coming home from school one afternoon, and in Plaza Apartments. That's where we were living at the time. I was like 7 years old. And my mom had a friend come pick her up because we didn't have a car at the time. So she was like, let's get in the car and let's go. I'm like, where we going? She said, don't worry about it. Just get in the back seat. And I get in the back seat, take a little ride. The school that I went to across the street, Haven Elementary, was actually across the street from the neighborhood that I grew up in. I was like 7 years old. And she just opened the door. Back then it was like the two-door, and you would like push the seat up, and you had to, slide through the door. And she was like, I'll be back to get you. And I said, what are you doing? And as kids, I was outside running around playing football. And it was just something that I had never done up to that point till I was 7 years old. And she dropped me off, man, and I just, started running around going crazy, having fun. And when she came back to pick me up later on that evening, and she was like, you have fun? I was like, I love it. And that was the first time I got introduced to playing football.
That was at 7. She just dropped you off.
She dropped me off.
Well, shout out to your moms for that.
That was it, absolutely.
Okay, so did you play Pop Warner right before high school?
After I played flag football, 7 years old, I went to play for the 112-pound Plaza Panthers. Then I went up the next year playing for the 130-pound Plaza Raiders, and then I would, go to Plaza Junior High School to play at Plaza Junior, which is probably one of the most craziest, notorious junior high schools a kid can go to. I mean, you learn so many lessons, so many things that still resonate with you today. You just, it was a lot. It was a tough place, but I played football there from 7th grade, and then I went on to high school to play.
You went to Green High, but in junior high school, how did you stay focused, being that was so notorious? Like,
oh man, it was just
it was everybody being bad there.
Oh man,
wow.
It was bad, man. It was like fights every day. It was a place to where, you had to know how to protect yourself.
Right.
But at the same time, man, it was, everybody knew everybody because everybody pretty much grew up together, growing up in the same neighborhoods. You either played, football or basketball, up to that point to where you're 13 and 14, going into the 7th grade. But it was real competitive. you couldn't, you had to be good, to go out there and be able to compete and play with a lot of the kids that I grew up with. And I always say, man, it's the craziest thing because there's so many kids that came before me that I used to look up to that were better than me.
Mm.
And you're like, damn, they're like, when you go home, they're the playground legends. And only the people that we grew up with or who we were around know who these people are because nobody ever got a chance to see them play.
Wow.
Which is the sad, harsh reality of growing up and, seeing it and playing.
So then you went to Green Run High School.
Yeah, I went to Green Run High School back in 1993. I got there in the 9th grade, and I really was kind of leaning away towards football because I really only played football because my mom had dropped me off, and everybody in my neighborhood was playing. But my first love was basketball. So freshman year I played basketball. My freshman year I played football also. And my second year, going into my sophomore year, I quit the football team. I was like, yo, man, I don't want to play no more.
Just for basketball or?
No, I quit the football team because I just wanted to play basketball.
Right, okay.
And my coach was like, listen, you're making a mistake. I said, man, listen, I'm just playing football because all my boys are playing. It's not really what I want to do. I want to play hoop. And he was like,
crazy.
Man, listen, you can do some special things if you just trust me and believe me. Just come back out and play and, and see what you think. And I'm like, man, but I don't want to play. So I remember going into my sophomore season, the first day of school. I was in ISS and school suspension the first day of school.
This is still at Green Run?
Yeah, this is my first day of school in my sophomore year. So I walked through the door, principal meet me, they was like, yo, you in school suspension. I'm like, for what? I got caught trespassing on the school grounds the last day of school the previous year. So I come to the door with my 54 leather Reebok Classic, my cross-colored outfit on. And nobody got to see my outfit because I was in ISS. And my football coach, he was the in-school suspension coordinator, so he sat there. And he said, I want you to see something. And I was, maybe 15 or 16? And he comes over to me with one of those little U.S. postage mailbox, one of those little, get your whole letters in, and he puts it on the floor. And it's full with letters from football, from colleges offering me scholarships to play football.
For you?
For me.
Wow.
And I was like, this don't even make no sense, man. I don't even want to play. I'm just playing because everybody else playing. And he was like, listen, if you trust what I'm telling you, you'll be able to do some special things going forward. And I opened up every letter.
During the suspension?
It was Notre Dame, Florida, USC, UCLA, Miami, Penn State, Virginia, Clemson. Everybody that you could possibly imagine was in that box.
Wow. And
I was like, well, maybe I'm better than I think I am. And so, long story short, I trusted the process of a man who had been in coaching for 25 plus years, and he was absolutely correct.
You still speak to him? Is he still?
Absolutely.
Thank him all the time, right?
All the time, man. He's like there's a couple people in my life that came into my life as, father figures that saved my life, and he's one of them.
That's dope.